All right, everyone, day 2, January 2nd. We're back. We're keeping it going in 2-day streak. So that's the world record so far. So kind of weird start to the year, just in every aspect of life. But, we've seen crazier stuff, I guess. But anyway, today we're going to talk about my Chicago Cubs. So yesterday, I was talking about the Hall of Fame and Billy Wagner. I kind of said, tomorrow I'm going to talk about the Cubs. So that is today. We're about, halfway to the season starting. Probably a little less to pitchers and catchers reporting, which, of course, is the first, sign that, spring training is starting and all that, And the Cubs are really bizarre because they made a really great trade for Kyle Tucker. I was really happy about that. I watched the Astros a lot when Greinke was on there because Greinke is my favorite player. And Kyle Tucker's amazing, amazing, amazing player. He's sort of the new age Jose Ramirez, where it's like he actually is underrated. Jose Ramirez kind of graduated from being underrated. Now he's overratedly underrated. Kyle Tucker definitely is underrated. And so it's awesome to have a guy like that on our team, especially if they're not going to be spending money, which kind of ties into one of the main things I'm worried about is, what's going on with the money? Cubs are a team that definitely should have a lot of money. One of the biggest markets, one of the most famous teams in just sports in general, not just baseball. And they're very hesitant to spend money. Now, whenever you hear that, you kind of go, oh, well, ownership, they want to be yada, yada, whatever. A couple years ago, Tom Ricketts and his family were trying to buy a football team, like a European football team, soccer as we call it. But over the years since Theo has left, it almost feels like this is less ownership not spending money and more this is Jed's vision. Jed's vision is paying for, all these small contracts and it adding up. He must be a Moneyball fan. We're going to recreate Juan Soto in the aggregate. You know what I mean? We're going to recreate all these guys in the aggregate instead of just, spending the money, Juan Soto, I'm not mad about because that was a lot of money and he wasn't really going to have a place to play, With Kyle Tucker, of course, that was the initial thought was oh, well, say Suzuki's playing right field, but, he's probably going to DH now and probably a good thing, I love Seiya, but his defense definitely could be a little better. Definitely questions, puts into question gold gloves in Japan for sure because he's a multi-gold glove winner in Japan. So what does that say about the other gold glove winners? But anyway, but now, Seiya's going to move to DH and Kyle Tucker's going to play right field. And now the Cubs are going to have probably one of the best outfields because you're going to have Kyle Tucker. You're going to have Ian Happ at left field, who's probably just the best left fielder fielding, or in terms of, because a lot of left fielders are kind of hitter, bat first guys, And then, of course, PCA, who is just awesome, awesome young talent for center field. So excited about that. But the money aspect, right? So Jed, it seems like he's been doing these small deals. And last year, it's not even like they're playing at a low salary, because they went over the salary cap by a little bit, which is bad. Because if you're going to go over the salary cap, you might as well go over it by a lot. That's sort of the theory, at least. But then, it's okay, damn, they went over the salary cap. It seems like they just want to do these small deals. But then it's they spend and again, we haven't seen him yet. I hope he's good. But then we see them spend $30 million on Matthew Boyd. And it's okay, it's 15 per year, but for 2 years. And it's if you get 2 Matthew Boyds, that's equal to a year of a really good player. Not that Matthew Boyd is not a good player. We don't know. We don't know yet. He's a pitcher, by the way. He's a starting pitcher. But it's just sort of what? Last year they were really good. Last year's offseason was amazing. It was got Shota Imanaga, which very, very plus. He's probably my favorite Cub on the team now. Probably, maybe. I like Nico Horner a lot. I hit the mic again, sorry. And then they traded for Michael Bush. And that was one of the best trades Jed Hoyer's made. That's probably saved his job a little bit. So if he can make a couple other trades, maybe this Kyle Tucker trade will end up looking like the Michael Bush trade, you know? But all of that to say, the team as it's constructed right now, again, the season has not started. The offseason is not over. There's still a lot of moves to be made, which we'll get into in a second here. One of the bigger moves that the Cubs are sort of in talks about and stuff like that. But it's not over. But as it's constructed right now, I don't think they're that much better than last year's team. And that's not good. Like, they need to get into the playoffs, and that's sort of what I thought this Kyle Tucker trade represented. It was like, we just need to win our first playoff game in 7 years, or it'll be 8 years now, because the last time they won was in 2017, or a playoff game, because then they made it in 2018 and they lost a wild card, and in 2020 they got swept by the Marlins, which is kind of rough. But then it's like he's just been sleeping. Jed's just been sleeping. He's just been, I don't know, Christmas, Thanksgiving, or not Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, all gone, no moves. So now we'll kind of go into the next thing is my theory about that, if I'm being positive, is they're waiting for Roki Sasaki to make a decision. So, of course, Roki Sasaki is the big free agent from Japan. If you want to know more about him, I made some shorts and a video about him that goes more in depth into his situation, but it's very unique in baseball, in Japanese baseball as well, where it's basically this guy who is really young and he's going to come over, but he's not able to make a normal free agent salary. So basically that means there's like a maximum amount of money he can make. So it's all just going to be about where he wants to play, because there's no money involved. It's just every team, like the Dodgers can't outspend other teams. You just have to convince him that your team is the best landing spot for him. So it's kind of interesting, And this is where Jed is theoretically really good at is, we've seen a bunch of Japanese players come over to the Cubs and be really successful. That's something they could use to say, hey, Roki Sasaki, come over, and he'd be it would be a franchise-altering, thing to get Roki Sasaki like that. Will he be a Dodger? Yes. He's going to be a Dodger. Like, he's going to be a Dodger, So it doesn't really matter, but in my head, in my mind, it's not done yet. Cubs are one of the 6 teams remaining. We'll see about Roki Sasaki, but overall I think the Cubs, it's like I'm excited to see Kyle Tucker. This is going to be another year where I have no relevant jerseys. I'm wearing a Contreras jersey right now, and then I have a Bellinger jersey. Actually, am I wearing the Bellinger jersey right now? Oh, it is the Bellinger. Wait, I can't see from the camera. Was it 40? It's 20. Yeah, okay. It's Bellinger. This is the Bellinger one. I have a Contreras one as well. That's the the Blues. Anyway, now my shirt's all crazy. But yeah, I need to get a jersey. Probably gonna be Shota Imanaga. I might get the Wrigleyville jersey. Wrigleyville, I was kind of down on, but I kind of like it. I like it more than the Grays. I think the Grays are like one of the worst jerseys. Definitely the worst Cubs jerseys. They might be one of the worst jerseys in the league, but I think that's going to be it. Let me know if you're a Cubs fan, what you think about the Cubs this year. And we're going to see what happens. I'm optimistic. I'm just going to watch them anyway. It's like, hey, Kyle Tucker's one of the best players in the game. So it's really awesome to have him. And it's unfortunate that I can't just be super psyched about Kyle Tucker being a Cub, because there's a lot more other issues. But we'll come back. We'll check back in, once the free agency's done, maybe once they come into spring training, about the Cubs and where my feeling is at. But right now, I'm feeling out of 10, arbitrary ranking, I'm feeling like a 7. Like a 7. Maybe 6.5. Maybe that's too harsh. 7 if they get Roki Sasaki, it's a 10. And then if they get... And that's the other thing, is there's not a lot of other free agents to get, They got to get some bullpen arms. They could make some other trades maybe. But yeah. All right. That was day 2. If you want to see more daily videos, subscribe. Tomorrow, what are we going to talk about tomorrow? We'll figure it out. We'll see. I really want to keep this going. I really, really do. And I'm going to. I just have to think of ideas. That's the main issue. All right. Have a good second day of the year, everyone. Bye-bye.